Everybody, this is Angela Sasser, fantasy artist and Art Nouveau artist, and you may know my work from angelasasser.com. I'm finally back to doing monthly video updates. I did them for a while, and then I got so overwhelmed and busy that I kind of fell out of the practice, so here's hoping I can stay back in. So basically for these videos, I'm just going to talk about how my month's been, what I've been working on, and share some looks at what I've been working on, as well as give you a look this month of how my studio looks once you've dropped DragonCon prep on top of it. So hold on to your butts. I'm going to show you a bunch of cool things that have happened because July has been epic. So I can't wait. So before I move on to all the cool things I want to show you guys, I just want to tell you a little about how my month has been, and it's been great. I actually took a hiatus in June, not just to work on projects, but actually to take a vacation, like an actual vacation where I don't work. But I spent like a week of that being sick because I overworked myself too much before. It's a problem of mine. I love art. I love what I do, but also that means I work too much sometimes. So had a week to recover from being sick, and then a surprise project came to me that I just could not resist, and I'm about to talk about that in a second. But I found myself doing a lot of line art until the wee hours of the morning. So a lot of June was trying to decompress, but also turning slowly into a vampire. And so here in July, I'm pretty much full-fledged a vampire. I've been staying up really late. So I've been practicing trying to clear my mind before bedtime so I can sleep. And it's really tough because I'll be honest, July is really exciting. There's a lot of stuff happening for me right now. I've finished 9 of my 12 Birthstone ladies. And this is 2 years I've been working on this project. So my mind is just going 1,000 miles per minute thinking about, well, I've been working on this series for 2 years. Is it going to be worth it in the end? Are people going to like it? Are people going to support me on Kickstarter when those coloring books go live? Yeah, is it going to be worth sacrificing 2 years of my life? But you know, by the same token, even if nobody likes it, I'll still have all of this art that I created that I'm super proud of that can be used in portfolios if I want it to be. So I consider that a huge plus of doing something that I am personally passionate about so I could build my body of work. So I guess that's my big pearl of wisdom this month is when you choose to do something, make sure it's something you want in your heart to do, and that's going to enrich your art and that you've expressed yourself. So when you look at it at the end, it could be something that you're proud of, and even if you don't have the work or the money from it, you have the art and you can do something with that. But I'll be honestly, I think it's gonna do fine, and everybody tells me it's gonna do fine, but you know, when you're on the other side of that, you I'll just tell you, as a professional artist, it never goes away, the worries that people aren't gonna like something, even if you're hugely popular, which I am not. But my hugely popular friends tell me it never goes away. So you just have to learn to live with that self-doubt and to try and control it, and also have a little faith in yourself that what you're doing is worthwhile in some form or fashion. So that's what I've been dealing with in June and July, just knowing that in a few months from now, a lot of cool things are going to happen, and it's just going to be really, really exciting. I've never planned this much in advance before, so it's all new territory for me. I'm building an empire of Art Nouveau ladies, and hopefully you guys will stick with me through that. So, building an empire of ladies, yeah. I'm really excited to see it all come to fruition. And on that note, I'm gonna segue into sharing some of the cool stuff I've been talking about, like the line art that I got commissioned to do during vacation. Here's what it all led up to right now. One of the most exciting things to happen in July is that the Coloring Heaven Art Nouveau Angels Special featuring the work of Angela R. Sasser was published in the UK this month. And for those who recall, I went on hiatus in June, and that was because I was approached to create the line work for this project, and I needed the time then to create all the new line work that I did for this book. And it's an excellent compilation. It has all the line art from my Angels painting book, Angelic Visions. It has all the work from the Ladies of the Month's Birthstone series that's currently available right now. And it has some previously unpublished pages as well. So it's a really good issue to pick up if you're in the UK. There's a lot of awesome detailed line work because I'm really obsessive about my tedious line work. So my obsession can be your coloring fun. And for those who aren't in the UK, the fact that I was even asked to make this book has encouraged me to move forward with my ideas to use Kickstarter to publish my own coloring books here in the States and anywhere else. I think I will open that Kickstarter up to international orders. So right now I'm planning to kickstart my own self-published coloring books that feature angelic visions all in their own coloring book. The completed Ladies of the Month, since this particular issue, the Coloring Heaven issue, only has 9 of the 12 ladies that are going to be available. They wanted to publish all that work now, but in the future I'll have all 12 ladies and their mandala windows to share, so they'll be in their own dedicated coloring book as well. But if you don't want to wait a year or the rest of this year to get my coloring books via Kickstarter, this issue can tide you over. And I'll put a link to where you can find this issue online to buy. You may have to pay international shipping if you're outside of the UK, but if you want it, it's there for you. I'll also put a link to my Kickstarter profile because you can follow me there in order to be alerted of when I post new projects there. So that would be great for those of you who want to support me. I won't be able to publish them without your support in pledging to those projects when they come up in the future. But stay tuned. I'm sure I'll be talking about this project to remind you guys in the future. But I'm going to publish coloring books, and they're going to be awesome, and hopefully there will be something you guys will really enjoy. So stay tuned for more on that. So a couple other cool things that are happening right now. I'm working on the Lady of August, who is the third from the last lady in my Birthstone series. And here's a sneak peek of the mood board that has a lot of inspiration from Shrine Maidens and the goddess form of Mary. And on the right there you have my fashion sketches for Lady of August, which show those influences. And if you are one of my Patreon patrons, you can go to Patreon right now and see the full view of my sketches and read my secret sketchbook that talks about all the inspirations and thoughts that came together to form the design I have for Lady of August so far. She's in the sketch phases, and I hope to start painting her this week. So yeah, check it out if you're on Patreon. I should also note that the secret sketchbook entries for the ladies from this point on are going to be reserved only for my Patreon patrons to see. So all the design notes and sketches and creative process, that's going to be only for my Patreon patrons. And also the videos that I used to create are now only going to be shared with Patreon patrons until the end of the project, when I'll be releasing all of that to the public. But that will still be a few months from now, so if you want to see all of that early, you gotta get in on that Patreon. Speaking of Patreon, I also have some free articles up for the public that are available for everyone to see. And my public post feed includes now a tutorial that I wrote that condenses all the knowledge I shared at the DragonCon workshop in this free post for you all to see. It includes a link to my handy dandy Art Nouveau resources page, because I'm somewhat of a book hoarder, so I have all of these books. and you can check them out here on the resources page. But the tutorial also shares some thoughts about the Art Nouveau style, how you can bring it to your work if you're wondering about working in the style as well. It shares bad examples, good examples, stylistic considerations, etc. So if you like the Art Nouveau style and want to learn more about it or bring it to your own artwork, you can check out this article for free on my Patreon. There are also some other articles that you can check out, like art features of lesser known Art Nouveau artists and all of that. So yeah, even if you're not paying for Patreon, you can still get some value out of my free post there. So go check them out. Next up, on what I've been doing in July, I had to share Camp NaNoWriMo with you guys. If you don't know already, I'm actually a writer as well as an artist, and I like to write on my free time after I'm done doing art during the day. So this basically keeps me sane. When art starts to drive me insane, I shift over to writing, which is a whole other muse that I enjoy doing. And what Camp NaNoWriMo is, NaNoWriMo stands for National Novel Writing Month. It's usually in November, but they also have smaller events that are less strict in April and July. So for Camp NaNoWriMo in July, I came back to my story, The Uncrucified. I've been working on this story for a couple of years now, with featuring this main character right here. And she's a character that I've been role-playing in tabletop games. And I got so inspired I just had to write about her. She's really captured my muse. So if you want to check out all the writing and art I've been doing for Camp NaNoWriMo, you can go to theuncrucified.angelasasser.com and look at her story and look at all the art I've been drawing for her. It's a lot of fun. This page also takes you to the reader blog where you can see the beta chapters of the drafts I've been working on for Camp NaNoWriMo. So if you want to read a story about a character who picks herself up from really horrible circumstances and comes into her own as a really badass gunslinging business lady, then this is the story for you. It's also a desert fantasy based setting, which is a really cool setting inspired by the Exalted RPG. I've also put in this blog visual mood boards for that desert fantasy setting, which I think Exalted fans could probably get a lot of good inspiration from, or people who just enjoy that desert fantasy setting. I've gathered a lot of reference images here to inspire myself and get into the mindset of the location. Because it's one thing to kind of take notes about, oh, this person lives here and there are these houses. It's a whole other thing to really immerse yourself in what this culture might look like, how they might live, dusty workshops, living quarters, everything like that. So check it out. The visual mood boards are up at the blog. And again, I'll put the links to this and the other tutorials I mentioned in the description of this video. So that's what else I've been working on this month. And it's just been great. I've been really excited about everything. So I hope you guys are too. Alright, hey everyone, for the next part of the monthly update, I wanted to give you a quick look at all the convention stuff I've been doing. And I know I've been promising like a proper walkthrough of my studio, but it's a total mess right now, so I'll have to do that another time. So for this little part of the video, you'll just be seeing all the convention stuff I've been working on for DragonCon, which is like the biggest event of the year for most of the artists in this area who do fantasy art, including myself. So yeah, prepare yourself. You're about to see the convention mess. Alright, here's the first part of my DragonCon chaos, getting images ready for the gallery area of the art show. These are all original paintings. It's the Birthstone series I've been working on. They've got genuine gold in the lettering. And I have to put glass in all of these frames because the frames come just by themselves with placeholder sterilite glass, I believe it is. It's some kind of plastic. And I gotta replace that with the UV protective glass, I have bought an anti-glare glass here. You can barely see it, which is a good thing. It also has UV resistance since these are watercolor paintings and you don't want the watercolor paintings to be out in the sun. I'll also have to cut mats for the ones that have the white margin there showing, because I don't want that white margin there showing in these frames. And there's the pile of glass on the chair. That came in the giant box there, and then there's other boxes that have backing board and bags and everything else that have all been piling up in the house. Convention prep season, yay! Then over here, this is my mat cutting station where I've got right now all the backing boards for the prints. The prints themselves are here. The problem with the prints is that they're 8 by 16 inches and my boards only come in this size, so I'll have to sit there and cut each one down by hand. The bags are also not the right size, so I'll have to use tape to kind of fold over the slack so that these are all nice and pretty and don't have all this extra material showing. And I just can't leave them with all the extra inches because I feel like that would be unprofessional looking. Next we have over here, these are microfiber dice bags. They have a drawstring up at the top. These will also be in the print shop, and I've got to package those up so they look like this. So they have the nice branding and packaging on there. And then with DragonCon, you have to add piece IDs and labels. That's so the DragonCon print shop can keep track of everything in their inventory and what you've sold. And yeah, this is actually a pretty light workload for DragonCon. Usually if I have a table, I have to have even more prints than I have here. I think I have something like 45. And since I'm not stocking a whole table, I actually get to wander the show and bother all the other artists. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait to see everybody. Okay, we made it to the end of the video, and wouldn't you know it, that the power's gone out once, and it's raining and dark, so I've lost my lighting. You gotta love Georgia's storms. So I'm just gonna close out this video and say that normally I like to do questions at the end, but I think I'm gonna start putting questions in their own Q&A little miniature videos, so stay tuned for that. One of the biggest questions I've gotten over this past month is, Angela, how do you get published, and how did I get Angelic Visions published, and how did I get this latest coloring book magazine thing going? So yeah, that's a big topic, so look for that in a separate video. And again, if you like my work, go see it at angelasasser.com, or if you really like my work, you can support me on Patreon at www.patreon.com/Angela Sasser. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you guys next month. Bye bye!